bodies came together and formed the International Code Council. And through many code hearings and everything else, California tried to get in there and do what we thought was right and mirror what we've been doing in the past. Half-inch sheetrock and garages have been approved back east and in the southern areas for years and years, and it's unfortunate. I really wanted to see 5/8 stay in there, but California didn't win out in that situation.
Yeah, it's interesting. I've advocated for 3/4 for that wall, just because of the sheer success of preventing fires from entering into the livable space from the garage. 3/4 would do even better, but that's another subject. My concern is you couple this building code with AB 2121 in regards to water storage, and the public needs to know this is going to stop. If you combine those two, and we don't take an action on these two items, although they're separate, you combine them, it's going to stop literally and or increase the cost of building a single family home in this county to where it's going to be cost prohibitive. And I just want the board members to recognize you combine these two and we're putting a stamp of unrecognized no growth on this county without us even having a say in it. And that's why I've been very passionate in regards to AB 2121. I've known about the wildland fire codes coming down the pike. It's unfortunate. California takes the tact of punishing the many for the few that are unwilling or unintelligent to protect themselves in wildland urban interfaces. And so it's the old couple screw up and everybody gets the blame for it. And California is famous for not taking personal responsibility, and this is the result. Legislation that local entities have not had any say in, and you know, it's certainly, you know, you guys are bringing the message. It's not your fault, but the compilation of all these other things, snow loads, soil reports, seismic zones, and all that, man, it's really putting the squash on us here in little old Mendocino County. And my report here in a little bit on another issue. I was testifying in Sacramento yesterday. Sacramento could give a damn about Mendocino County, and that's very unfortunate. And Johnny's comments about our last remaining timber industry could come to fruition there, and it's very just disheartening. Director.
Just to that also, I think you do need to look at it, you know, in the larger picture, that there is more than just these new state mandates relative to building construction. You've mentioned one, SB 1500, SB 1617. Those are requiring an awful lot of them, if passed, will involve CDF in the review of individual building permits. Will require that people contract with CDF or annex into districts to build in certain geographic areas. I do think you need to look at those in total. There's also a bill proposal to be taxing people in the SRA area. In the larger picture, you know, my concern is, you know, what's it doing? We have a difficult enough time regulating folks as it is. This will push, I think, more people into being outlaws, not obtaining permits, or they'll be going down the route of Class K. I think that's the unintended consequence of what we're potentially looking at.
Yeah, and one of the bills I heard testimony on yesterday was the fees for SRA dwellings. CDF came forward and said we're going to need an additional $200 million and 500 additional personnel to enforce that. Just collection of the fees. So we're spiraling out of control here in California, and people need to recognize that. Supervisor Smith, okay.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Well, maybe in the interest of time, I think these are all really good comments. I just happen to be looking at our water director's comprehensive responses on AB 2121, so I think it's timely that you mentioned that. So we're looking at that, and I think that's a good template in terms of a substantive policy approach to commentary about how AB 2121 is not in sync with how we want to proceed with water and environmental oversight in Mendocino County. He cites specifics on where he thinks it's unreasonable. Our agenda summary doesn't allow, I don't believe, here for any specific action on it. It's just receiving the informational report. But why don't we direct our, just a staff direction, why don't we consider directing our chief building inspector and our director of planning and building to do a similar review? And I think, to your note, there's some things in here that you think the higher standards are actually better with respect to fire. So why don't they come up with something that they think is reasonable commentary on these specific things, and we should just follow suit with the letter. It's not the only thing we might do on this, but that's one way I think we ought to give commentary on these state requirements, how they don't work in Mendocino County, being really, specific as to why, and then just commenting on the things that we think are pertinent from your professional, area of expertise, and that we just submit that, similar to what we have from the water agency. That would be one suggestion.
Good suggestion. Supervisor Pinches.
Well, first of all, I don't see where the problem is. Is one of the biggest problems in this state, if I miss something, is because there's too many buildings falling down. The only buildings I see falling down is the ones they built right on top of the coast, and the wave comes in and knocks them over. But, where's the problem here? I mean, what's the state focused on? I mean, I don't see where's the problem of whether it's skyscrapers or somebody's cabin. I don't see the issue of them falling down as the issue. But, Chairman Wattenberger brought up the issue of AB 2121 and this issue. I want to ask this board, where's our state legislative advocate been on these issues? They've never even hit the radar screen. These are two extremely important issues facing Mendocino County, and we haven't heard a word from our state representative on either one of these issues. We never got no heads up of their passage. Where's the, we spend good money for this legislative advocate, supposed to be watching out for our interests in Sacramento. I want to know what, that's why I advocated we need somebody that rides for Mendocino County in Sacramento, not some legislative advocate that blends in our representation with a dozen or 3 dozen other counties. And I want to remind that board before it's next budget time, we need to review some of these contracts, and let's, we have budget hearings and put our department heads through the coals over where you spent $5,000 or $7,000 or something on this and that issue, but yet we give our legislative advocates many thousands of dollars in 2 huge issues that has hit us right in the face, and we've never even got so much as a letter, an email, or anything from our state legislative advocate on either one of these issues.
Thank you, Supervisor. Supervisor Delbert.
Well, thank you. I appreciate Director Hall's reference to the numerous bills that are out there that could wreak havoc on us, but as much as I may not like them, at least there's a process for us to voice an opinion, and we have the legislators, 2 of them, which we can request their vote, yea or nay. We didn't have that opportunity with these. These were shoved down our throat. And in regard to the testing of materials, it eventually, the market will adjust, but it'll be a much higher expense. And the cost of that construction or that home someone's trying to build and get into goes up and up and up. And that's another problem. I'm not, obviously, as I said earlier, I'm not willing to lay over and accept it. I'd like staff to go through this, as was mentioned,